Welcome to class. Thanks for joining me this evening. As usual, we'll use a chair. We'll begin and end the class in a chair, and we'll use it as a prop a couple of times during the class. And we'll also be using a yoga belt, a blanket, and a yoga block if you have them. So those of you who have been in this course for the last few weeks, we've been doing sessions looking at how yoga supports health. And the title of tonight's class is The Mind-Body Connection. And it's really the fact that yoga is a practice that works both on the mind and on the body simultaneously that gives it its power. And that has been measured by numerous scientific studies. The acknowledgement that the mind affects the body and the body affects the mind is an insight that yoga has had for thousands of years, but has become apparent through the study of stress and other things to be really, really important to human happiness and health. So the other way that this is kind of thought about currently is in terms of autonomic regulation. So without getting too technical, the part of your nervous system which excites you and gets you ready to do things called the sympathetic side. But also when that goes into chronic overdrive, then that's when you've got chronic stress. And when that is engaged over a sustained period of time, lots of stress hormones run around your body and cause long-term damage, including suppressing the immune system, causing inflammation, things like that. So the autonomic regulation is the ability to intervene in that process with something like a yoga practice, a mind-body connection, a mind-body intervention, and to deliberately rebalance the autonomic nervous system by encouraging parasympathetic. So sympathetic revs you up, parasympathetic calms you down. And when we're in a state of parasympathetic response, we feel relaxed, we feel calm, we feel centered, we feel more like our true selves. So you can see why if you go to the gym and you're very stressed and you're very revved up and you just plug in your iPod and then pound the treadmill, there's a danger of just going deeper and deeper into that sympathetic drive and actually not really undoing and not really rebalancing the body. So last thing I want to say, and just wave a book, which I think I've waved before, which is the Dean and Anne Ornish book, Undo It. So Dean Ornish is a famous scientist and heart specialist in America who developed lifestyle medicine and has proven through many randomized controlled trials that lifestyle change can reverse many chronic diseases. And it's really, really simple. And I bet lots of you are doing most of these things anyway. So the four main components of lifestyle medicine is changing your diet to a mainly whole food and plant-based diet, taking moderate exercise, at least half an hour every day, managing your stress, and then making sure that you have the social connection and love, support and intimacy around you. And when that happens, there can be a dramatic impact on our health outcomes. And when scientists looked at people who were unable to make positive lifestyle change, so these are 100,000 people who had unhealthy diets, smoking, low levels of physical activity, consuming above average levels of alcohol, and overweight, those factors contributed to them losing 12 to 14 years of their lifespan. Or to look at it the other way around, if you adopt lifestyle medicine and do those things, change your diet, exercise more, have the love and connection and intimacy, and manage your stress, and then there's a possibility there of adding more than a decade to your lifespan. But it's a decade of good quality life. So I can't promise that, but it's worth giving it a go, as people might say. So let's begin. So tonight the way that I'm going to kind of integrate that theme and this little bit of chat into our practice is that we're going to sort of continuously think about what is the practice, what effect is the practice having on the body, and what effect is it having on the mind, and treating those two things as equally important. So when we're feeling a stretch, it's equally important how we're reacting to that stretch. Okay, so we'll start with a little bit of breathing. If you're not starting in a chair, absolutely fine. If you'd rather sit on a mat, but whatever position you're in, just ensure your spine is upright. Just trying to relax the shoulders and find a bit of softness and ease in your posture. And then if you're happy to close your eyes, let your eyes close. And if you're keeping the eyes open, just have a soft gaze forwards and down. So take a moment to do a little baseline assessment of how you feel right now. So first of all, noticing the body, noticing every sensation in the body, and just doing a little scan, a little health check. Is there anything going on with you now? Maybe a cough or a cold? Are your energy levels above average, below average? Do you feel any aches and pains? Is your body characteristic of ease and release, or is there some tension in the muscles and in the joints? And then do a similar reflection on your state of mind. Because ideally, through this process of observing the mind and observing the body, we're going to draw the mind into a state of more and more complete awareness and mindfulness of this exact moment. And it's when the mind has wandered into the future or back to the past that we lose that focus and we lose our sense of ease, as many imagined fears about the future or hurts and problems from the past come to mind. So we're just letting that go. We're coming fully into the present moment and just noticing whether our mind feels settled right now and whether we're able to just hold a focus right here on our body and now on our breath. So just beginning to tune in to your own breath, breathing in and out through the nose, unless the nose is blocked. And making the connection in your head that the kind of mediator between the body and the mind is the breath. And the breath is something we can control. And as we do take control of it, we really have a positive effect on the mind-body connection. So we're going to begin to just work on extending the in-breath and the out-breath. And tonight we are working with a semi-supine ratio, a ratio of equal inhale and exhale. But we're not going to be prescriptive about how long the inhale or the exhale is. You're just going to find your comfortable rhythm. And that may change during the class. It may slow down a little bit more, extend a little bit more. So what I'd like you to do is, on your next inhale, is just silently count the length of the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you begin to exhale, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So just carry on doing that for a couple more breaths. The only thing is, whatever you count to on your inhale, use the same count for your exhale and vice versa. So have that commitment to equalizing the in-breath and the out-breath. Now, if you count very slowly, 4 may be enough. If you feel like you want to keep your rhythm of counting and yet there's a little bit more space in your breath, then simply move the count up to 5 or even 6, but no further than 6. So in the next 2 or 3 breaths, just have a feeling that you have reached a comfortable fullness of inhale, a comfortable release of exhale in this equal samavriti ratio, samavriti rhythm, without being attached to a number, and making sure there's absolutely no strain on the body. And if there is a strain on the body, that will be reflected in the mind in the form of a slight sense of foreboding or anxiety about the breath. So if you get any of that, you're just going to dial back your breath a little and find that steadiness, that comfort and ease of a really rhythmic flowing inhale and exhale. And then in a moment, we're going to move on and incorporate this into some breath and movement. And when we do that, and during the class, you're going to carry on refining this breath really for years to come, so that you can really feel the way your breath begins very smoothly, the inhale ending smoothly, the exhale starting smoothly and ending smoothly. We can all always carry on refining the breath, knowing that it's our most powerful tool in mediating the mind-body connection. So we will let the count go now. Just trust your own sense of your breath to keep it in that rhythm, and bring the palms together. And then we're just going to breathe in and separate the arms and just have a nice stretch. Spread the fingers, draw the arms apart, separate and draw back the shoulders, make space at the front of the body, and then exhale, bring the palms together. Just give the palms a little squeeze and press. And once more, breathing in, expanding into your full inhale, and exhaling, bringing the palms together and squeezing the palms. And then give the arms a little shake, let the arms hang from the shoulders, and we're going to shrug the shoulders now. Inhaling and exhaling, drawing the shoulders forwards and up as we breathe in, and back and down as we breathe out. So just carry on doing that a couple more times in one direction, then a couple more times in the other direction. And then release the arms again, give the arms a little shake, and bringing the palms together, we're going to draw the heels of the hands away from each other, so just the fingertips are touching, and then slightly press towards the fingers. So all the fingers go into a little mini back bend, and then interlace the fingers and push the palms forwards. Inhale, bring the palms in, turn the hands and stretch the knuckles away from you. And then breathing in, take the arms up over your head just as far as is comfortable for you, and then release and float the arms down on an exhale. Just going to grab our belt and do a little bit more shoulder release with the belt. If you don't have one, it doesn't really matter. You could just do the arm position. So just holding the belt lightly and breathing in, taking the belt up into the air, and then breathing out, taking the belt all the way down. And as you come down, just relax the shoulders, give them a little circle again in between each one. Take the hands a little bit wider to make this next one easier, because we're going to go inhale up and we're going to go back a little bit, exhale. And if you can take your arms all the way back, that's a lot of shoulder release. And you might need to go even wider with your belt if the arm is buckling at the elbow. And exhale, release, and give the shoulders a little lift and roll. So let's do that once more. If you found that really easy, just move a couple of centimeters in with the hands, making the belt slightly shorter. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, taking the belt behind, relax. Breathing in, reaching up, and breathing out, and release, and lift and roll the shoulders. And then if we take the belt and wrap it once around each hand, and we're going to take one hand up in the air and the other one just behind us here, so that it's a bit like, if you know the pose Gomukhasana, where you're meant to link the hands behind the back, but that's a very severe and difficult opening. So we're going to use the belt to bridge that, and just put a little bit of tension in the belt here, so that I'm stretching from hand to hand. And this is going to help to feel a stretch through this upper arm. This is the tricep here, through the armpit, down through the latissimus dorsi muscle. And at the back there, just this process of inwardly rotating the arm and reaching back, making sure it's comfortable for you. Remember, you can go all the way down here, arms straight. If it's not comfortable, bend the elbow if you can, reaching up the back. And one more stretch, stretching the belt, and then release. Release the hands, give the shoulders another lift and roll. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So the left arm coming up, and the elbow reaching round, either just holding the arm straight or bending the elbow. So the back of the hand is just up the back, and then stretching the belt. So we can do different shoulder mobilizations, but when we use a belt like this and put a little bit of stretch into it, it's a nice combination of both stretching and slightly working the muscles of the shoulders. So there's a double benefit in terms of strength and flexibility. Just soften, maybe change the hand position, go a little bit higher if comfortable for you. And again, put a tiny bit more tension into the belt. Keep breathing as you do that. And then on the next exhale, releasing the belt, shrug the shoulders and give the arms a little shake. And just notice how the shoulders are feeling. Take the palms away from the body. We want to try and let these shoulders go really, really soft now, so that as we breathe in, we're going to try to float the arms up without lifting the tops of the shoulders. So as soon as you feel that happening, you're going to stop. You might go quite high before that starts to rise, and then turn the palms and find that equal, long, smooth exhale. Lovely. So even when we're working with a particular breathing ratio as a seated practice, when we come into our physical practice, it's going to naturally be a slightly shorter equal rhythm for some practices and a slightly longer one for others. So this is one where we might stretch the breath even a little bit more as we try to do these arm movements very, very smoothly, and as we try to keep the shoulders relaxed. And then give the arms a little shake. So just a couple more practices from the chair. So breathing in, you're going to bring the arms up to this cactus position. We'll be using this quite a lot. You just try on an inhale, drawing the elbows back, opening the front of the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together at the back of the body, and exhaling, just relaxing the hands forwards. So we have a sense of the shoulders moving forwards and back. And actually, you might be able to feel it, but your shoulder blades are just sliding around the side of the upper rib cage there. It's a lovely fluid movement, but if you have a lot of muscle tension in the shoulders, you may feel that this isn't particularly comfortable. Relax the arms down. So if the shoulders were tight, you're going to stay with that position, and it'll be inhale, exhale, twist, and arms down. And if the shoulders were feeling good, you're going to go a little bit higher with the arms and really stretch the spine up into the air. And then exhale, turning to your right, and long exhale, release the hands down, turning the shoulders, turning the head. This is a dynamic stretch. So as we breathe in, we're going to bring those arms back up, face forwards, and then breathe out. Take the arms and turn and twist to the left. So once more to each side with this form of the twist. If the arms get tired, just drop yourself back to the cactus arms. Otherwise, it's quite a useful way of finding the axis of the spine and really lengthening and maximizing your twist. Okay, so this time we're going to reach up and you're going to turn the shoulders to the right, but turn the head the opposite way. So exactly the same movement, but the head has gone the opposite way to the shoulders. Breathing in, coming back up. Breathing out, arms drop to the left and head turns to the right. And breathing in, coming up and breathing out. Release the arms down and lift and roll the shoulders. So that focus, we did a bit more on shoulders tonight than we would normally do. And there is a reason for that, because we again know from the science of yoga practice that when somebody carries a lot of tension in the shoulders and has lifted and tight shoulders, the signals to the brain, without going into all the detail of it, the signals to the brain is one of a mindset that would move you towards a more depressive state. And when you can release the shoulders down and free this area up, the signals to the brain are more supportive of a positive or euphoric state. So we kind of know that intuitively. You know, if you're feeling tense and cross and stressed, your shoulders are going to come up, and when you're feeling relaxed, they'll tend to go down. Well, that actually reflects in the chemical messengers and the signals between the musculature here and the brain. So that will help with the mind-body connection and the balance that we're really seeking here. So what we'll do now, our last posture in the chair is going to be a little forward bend. Might just want to walk the hips back slightly and begin to tilt the pelvis forwards, and then use the hands on the thighs to lower the upper body down. So think of this less of a usual forward bend where we're trying to stretch the back of the legs. This is really a stretch for the lower back. So take your focus there, notice what you feel there, and try to find a perfect point in this forward bend position where you're feeling the area of the lower back lengthen. And of course, it's doing so very safely because the spine has come out of gravity in this forward bending position. So we don't need to go a huge distance forward. When you've got that feeling of stretch and lengthening in the lower back, you're just going to tuck the chin in and try to let the crown of the head hang down roughly towards the floor. Going to be slightly, crown of the head pointing slightly forwards, but enough to allow the weight of the head to safely lengthen and stretch the back of the neck. So holding this position just for a couple more breaths. This is one we don't want to rush. A lot of people have tension in the lower back, and this is a particularly effective way of getting rid of it. And people will naturally come into this position if they're feeling discomfort in the back, whether they're doing it sitting up or lying on their back. Actually, that is what we were going to do now. We're going to move down to the mat. As usual, if there's anybody who needs to continue their practice in a chair, then in the next minute or two, just unmute and say that you would like chair instructions. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that everybody is coming down to the mat. And we're going to place the chair at the end of the mat. We'll use it a couple of times. And the yoga block that I had under my feet there, I'm going to use to support the back of the head. So we'll start in semi-supine with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor, feet hip width apart. And we'll just focus on this neck. So we just stretched it out in our forward bend. And what you're going to do now is tuck the chin in and really emphasize the space between the tops of the shoulders and the back of the head and the crown of the head. And you can only really do that if you've supported the head enough off the floor that the forehead is higher than the chin. And I do apologize for saying that every single week, but it is really, the whole practice is going to not work if you do it with the chin higher than the forehead. You're always going to have this problem with tension in the neck, and the dialogue between the body and the mind is going to be of a lower quality as a result. So what we'll do now is bring the knees in, holding the shins or the back of the thigh, and rock from side to side. And just a little easy tick-tock rhythm. And you can roll the head the opposite way to the knees. And because you have your chin tucked in, forehead level or higher than the chin, you have so much space in the back of the neck that it should feel like there's a lot of mobility in the neck, unless you've got other reasons why that isn't happening for you. And then come back to center. We're going to hug the knees in on an exhale. So again, hold the back of the thigh, or if there's no knee problems, you might hold the shin or even interlace the hands here. And as you breathe out, keep the shoulders relaxed and draw the thighs in. So notice the tailbone lifting and that space coming back into your lumbar area, your lower back area. As you breathe in, let the arms straighten and relax. And as you breathe out, squeeze the thighs in. We're reconnecting with that equal rhythm of breath. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale, softening the thighs away, making space for the breath. And then once more. And then this time as you inhale, just keep hold of the right leg, take the left leg down. You can leave it in semi-supine. If you can do a slightly stronger stretch, you might just want to have a look at sliding that left leg straight, pulling the toes back, engaging that left quad. So this left leg becomes a really strong, stretched out anchor for the pelvis. So now we can work the right leg. Exhale, draw the thigh in. And we really feel like we're working against a stabilized pelvis and creating a little bit more opening. And then once more, exhale. And then take your right hand on that right kneecap and place the top of the left hand on the left thigh and just rotate into the right hip. Again, use the strength and engagement of that left leg to stabilize the pelvis, so you're not going to feel like you're going to roll over. And try to softly find a slightly bigger range of movement in this right hip. Notice how it feels. Reverse the direction. And if there's any clunking there, really doesn't matter. This is a tough old joint, just as long as there's no discomfort or pain there. So what we'll do now is take the right foot down, bring the left leg in, holding the left shin or thigh. If you work with the leg straight, slide the right leg away now. Make this leg strong, engage the quad, and breathing out, drawing the left thigh in. Inhaling, relaxing the thigh away. Exhale, drawing in. Once more. Exhale, still working with our equal breath. Left hand on the left knee, right hand on the top of the right thigh, just to remind us that that area is not going to move. And now circling into the left hip. And circling back in the other direction. Lovely. And then release that left leg, slide both legs straight. Take the arms up to vertical. Just let them soften here. So take a little bit of tension out of the hands. Try to feel that your shoulder blades have softened down onto the mat behind you. So if your default position is to hold tension in the shoulders, they might have risen up towards the ears again. This is the time to slide them down and really feel like you're almost pressing the shoulder blades down towards the mat. On the next inhale, as much as your shoulders allow, you're going to take the arms overhead and actively stretch, spread the fingers, spread the bones of the feet and the toes, spread the hands and palms. Exhale, bring the arms back up to vertical. Inhale, stretch once more. Exhale, up to vertical. And last one, inhale, stretch the arms overhead. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows, take the arms away from the shoulders. Want the elbows level with or a little bit lower than the shoulders. Bend the knees, feet flat on the floor, and then slightly tuck the tailbone so the lower back is flat. I'm going to do a twist here with the feet hip width apart. If you want to work a little more strongly and it's safe for you, you can bring the feet together and squeeze the thighs together. I'm going to move in and out of this twist with our breath. Inhaling in this central position and exhale, knees to the right, head to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release to the other side. Inhale to center. And exhale, release the knees to the right, turn the head to the left, and this time hold the twist for 3 breaths. Using your equal rhythm of breath and using the exhale to try to really notice where you feel the twist in your body and to use that exhale to soften what you are experiencing in the spine, releasing a little deeper. After the end of the 3rd breath, inhale back to center and then exhale, knees to the left, head to the right. And again, holding the twist for 3 breaths. At the end of your 3rd breath, bring the knees and head to center, draw the knees in, bring the hands back, take a little rock from side to side. Then take the feet down. We're going to work towards a forward bend by a little bit of cross crawling. And again, this is relevant to our theme of mind-body connection, because when we move opposite sides of the body simultaneously, that process for coordination demands quite a bit of dialogue between the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So we're going to be doing the right leg and the left arm. As you breathe in, the knee comes in, the arm begins to go overhead. And at the end of the inhale, we're moving into our first gentle stretch for the hamstrings. So don't overdo that if they're tight. Exhale, bring it back. Next inhale will be the left leg and the right arm. And exhale, coming back, and continue for a couple more rounds at your own pace, using your equal rhythm of breath, equal inhale and exhale, to make this a real breath-led movement. Keep focusing on the practice. These right-left practices are very good for just holding the mind steady and attentive to what is taking place in the body. And the next time you do the left leg and the right arm, we're going to come back to semi-supine and grab hold of our belt once more. And we're going to be doing this stretch. We've done it every week of this course since we resumed after the summer, and we'll continue doing it. You can tell it's a favorite one of mine. So making sure the back of the pelvis is flat on the floor, the left leg remains in semi-supine. As you breathe in, invite the knee in towards the chest, keep the shoulders relaxed. And as you breathe out, allow the leg to straighten, supported by the belt, and take an appropriate level of stretch. So there are all sorts of techniques we employ in yoga to make the stretching as effective as it can be, mainly not being competitive with ourselves, making it a breath-led stretch, but also just noticing the mind-body connection and noticing what arises in the mind when you're doing a particular stretch can give you a lot of feedback as to whether you're doing it correctly. So if doing a stretch brings about any feelings of frustration or tightening or agitation, that's usually a pretty good indicator that you are pushing that stretch a little bit too much. That could be a little bit of end gaining going on. So we'll just back away from that. And at the end of this exhale, we're going to hold the stretch, but still keep it sustainable. Take as much stretch as is right for you. So the leg could be coming in if it's already straight. If the knee is not quite straight, just work on creating an appropriate amount of length, and eventually this leg will become fully straight and vertical, which is probably a kind of minimum amount of flexibility that you want to get back into your body. Lovely. And then if we bend the knee and bring the other foot in with a little bit of belt choreography, let the left foot take over, and then begin to do the same stretch. Inhale, invite the knee in. Exhale, take the stretch. Inhale, invite the knee in. Exhale, release the leg into space. Keep the breath steady and equal. Keep the shoulders soft and relaxed. Notice what arises in the mind as you stretch. So on this next exhale, we're going to move into our held stretch. And it might feel a little bit different on this leg compared with the right. Notice that if that's the case for you. And as you breathe, notice the quality of flow between the mind and the body. And then bend the knee Just take the belt out. We're going to use it once more in a second. So just release it and let it rest over the abdomen. We might just draw the knees in and rock from side to side, particularly if that stretch created any tension in the hips. And then we'll take the feet back to hip width apart, feet flat on the floor. And on the next exhale, you're going to draw the abdominal muscles in and just lightly press the lower back down to the ground. And as you breathe in, we'll slightly rock the pelvis, so the top of the pelvis lifts slightly. You feel yourself moving onto a little bit more of your sacrum, a little bit of lumbar curve appears, and then exhale, rock the pelvis back the other way and flatten the lower back. So we're doing this slightly exaggerated pelvic tilt with the breath, just to create some movement down in the pelvis and in the sacroiliac joint, to notice how that feels. But on the next exhale, we're going to flatten the back down towards the floor, and then we're just going to hold that position there. So now we need to take away anything that's under the back of the head. And for some of you, a blanket under the shoulders, if you've got a very rounded thoracic spine, could be necessary. If you feel any weight going into the head, then you've gone a little bit too high. So we want to, as we lift the hips, we want to feel the weight going into the shoulders and not into the head or the neck. So we can make that intention by just drawing the shoulders back, pressing the shoulder blades into the mat, keeping the lower back flat on the floor, and then breathing in, floating the pelvis up into the air. It doesn't have to come very high on this first one. And breathing out, roll the spine down, tuck the pelvis and release. If lifting the pelvis is too much, just do a baby lift, just a centimetre, and roll the back of the pelvis down. So you're going to work at your own pace for a few breaths, having the sense of the pelvis floating up on the inhale and the spine rolling down on the exhale. So this is one of the safest yoga back bends you can do. All the practices we do in these Zoom classes make their way into the lesson plan because they are, by their nature, very, very safe. Nevertheless, some of you are capable of slightly stronger work, so we're always going to try to meet everybody's needs. So if you want to go a little bit stronger, grab your belt, just hook it over the front of the ankles, wrap the belt once around the hands, and then on your next inhale, you can use the arms and the connection to the shins just to let the pelvis rise up a little bit more, and exhale, roll the spine down. Remember not to balloon the abdomen, so keep it drawing in as if you were pressing against the floor, even when the pelvis is lifted in the air. So we're going to keep doing a couple more, but anytime you need to stop, you just roll the spine down and hug the knees in over the chest. And if you are working a little bit more strongly, maybe the feet have tracked a tiny bit closer to the pelvis. And you could, if you wanted to, hold the lifted position for 2 or 3 breaths, drawing the shoulders back, pressing the shoulder blades into the mat, pressing the feet, engaging the thighs, slightly inwardly rotating the thighs, engaging the glutes, supporting through the strong arms, strong shoulders, strong legs, this opening in your spine. And then exhaling, if you're still working, everybody releasing down now, release the belt, draw the knees in, rock from side to side. And just notice how you feel. So back bends are associated with bringing up a more open, positive, have an energizing quality to them. Maybe just notice whether any of that is true for you. How has that back bend affected the mind? What is the mind-body connection for that pose? So we're going to roll onto our side now and come up and use the chair for a couple of postures. We're going to use the back of the chair. If you can place your chair against the wall to give it additional stability, that would be even better. I'm not actually going to do a lot of pushing in a forward direction with the chair. It's more going to be downward, but just make sure that it's not going to tip over or fall over if you've got an unsteady chair. And if you wanted to use a wall or something else, a shelf instead, to support the hands, that would be fine. So we're doing a version of the cat here. And by holding the chair, we're just saving a little bit of time in terms of moving from the floor to coming up, and some people who can't weight bear into the knees having to do different things, and just noticing how we can still create a lot of the undulating movement in the spine of the cat from the standing position. So breathing in, opening the chest. We're doing very, very little with the head and the neck, slightly arching into the lumbar back, but we're mainly focusing on trying to sink the spine between the shoulder blades at the back of the body as we breathe in. And then as we breathe out, tucking the tailbone under, tucking the chin in, and arching away from the back of the chair. Using your equal Samavriti breath and trying as much as possible to find a sense of undulation along the whole of the length of the spine. And it may be that you feel that some parts are much more mobile than others. Obviously, usually it's the neck and the lower back. And if you're feeling that, just trying to contain the movement there so you can bring in the important mid-back, which is going to be your stiffest part of the spine in most people. And then just coming up for a moment, holding the back of the chair, standing with the feet hip-width apart. And then we're going to come into a downward dog using the chair now. So we'll walk the feet back, we'll bend the knees, and if your back of your chair is wide enough, then the hands would ideally be around shoulder width apart. And then we're going to lower the chest between the upper arms and try to let gravity do most of the work for you here, keeping the knees bent. So we're using this as a spine lengthener and a shoulder release, and much less just letting go of the idea that it should be a stretch to the back of the legs. As soon as you try and straighten the legs in this position, it's very likely you'll just pull the pelvis round and round the back. If you're very long in the hamstrings and the back of the legs, you can straighten the legs slightly once you're in this flat back position, as long as you're remembering to draw in these lower abdominals to support the pelvis, to stop it being pulled into a curved position. Well done. And then with the knees bending, just walk the feet back in, come back up to standing, give the shoulders a lift and roll. So one more posture here, using the chair. We're coming into a lunge. Again, most of the weight should be going downwards, but there will be a little bit of weight going that way. So again, please ensure that it's going to be safe for you. If the chair is too high to step up onto, you can just step the leg forwards and work the lunge here with the hands on the hips. But if you can safely get the foot onto the chair, you'll get a lot more stretch, both through the standing leg and through this right hip in terms of the hip opening. So for those who are perhaps new tonight, this back foot is only very slightly turned out as you come into your lunge. So don't make the mistake of turning the back foot out. Have the back toes pointing towards the front chair leg and not any wider than the chair leg. So we keep the spine upright, and you can really sink as deeply as you want into this lunge, as long as you keep this knee stacked over that right ankle. Coming back to your equal breath, noticing the mind-body connection of this stretch, noticing where you feel this pose in your body, calf, hip flexors, hips. And then on the next inhale, releasing the right leg, giving the legs a little shake, and then coming into a lunge on the other side. Really important not to curl forward when you're doing this one. So the arms on the thigh just help to draw the shoulders back, draw the spine upright, and give you the most release through the front of the pelvis of the back leg. Equal breathing. Inhale and exhale. Well done. And then releasing that leg, give the legs a little shake. Turn your chair around once more. So we're going to do a really simple sequence. We'll do the first one together, but we'll just break it down a little bit, slow it down, and then we'll do a few repetitions. It's very similar to a simple sun salutation we've done before in this class. And it just has a balance folded in at the end of the set of movements. So with the hands together in front of the heart, as we breathe in, we're going to open the heart, cactus arms. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend the knees and come forwards, place the palms on the thighs, and just keep going forwards while you're breathing out. Tuck the chin in slightly. As you inhale, flatten the back and lift the back. And if you want additional back strengthening, just let the hands hover here on the thighs. And when it's time to breathe out, forward folding, just stopping here if you're not taking head below heart for any medical reason. And if you want to go into a deeper forward bend there, feel free to do that. It's only for the one exhale though. Coming back up, bend the knees, flatten the back. Come all the way up with your cactus arms. Exhale, prayer position. As you come into the prayer, just shift the weight over into the left foot and breathing in. So we can lift the foot just a little bit and exhale down, or we can lift the foot further until the knee is in a kind of heron balance position. And if you're really confident of your balance, you're going to come all the way up and just catch that knee and exhale, draw it in, and inhale, release it down. Shift the weight into the right foot. Inhale, lifting the heel. Exhale, down. Or inhale here. Exhale, down. Or inhale here. Exhale, draw the knee in. Inhale, release, and exhale, down. If you're doing the slightly longer balance, drawing the knee in, those who are doing the shorter balance, just get an extra breath at the end there, back in our starting position. So let's do a couple more of those. And equal breath all the way through, and really feeling that we are uniting body and mind through the medium of the breath. Inhale. Exhale, hands to thighs, mini forward bend. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, flat back, come all the way up. Exhale, palms together. I meant to say the reason we put the chair there was that if you're having trouble balancing, you want to do the full balance with support, then you would inhale now. Exhale, draw the thigh in. Inhale, straight arm. Exhale, release. Inhale, left leg coming up. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, straight arm. Exhale, release. So use the chair if you need to. Next round, 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, choose your balance. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more round, absolutely in your own time, doing whichever balance at the end there suits you. Lovely, well done. When you have finished that last one, I'm going to come down into our supported inversion. I'm going to place a blanket under my head this time, so that I can use the yoga block under the back of the pelvis and create this mild inversion of the legs higher than the hips higher than the heart and the shoulders, and the head supported in a comfortable position. And if that is comfortable for you, tuck the chin in, have the nose and the eyes facing up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take a few breaths here. So feel free to close the eyes or have a soft gaze up towards the ceiling. And use this closing, quietening down pose to check in with how you feel in your body right now. The sensations in the body, also the quality of the mind, the amount of steadiness and clarity you may be experiencing or not. And then the next couple of breaths, we're going to transition to whatever position you would like to come in for relaxation, which could be lying with the legs straight or lying on your side or semi-supine. So just come into the relaxation position that will work for you, and of course make yourself as warm, cozy and comfortable as you can. Perhaps dim any lights. use any relaxation props that you may like to use. So in this relaxation, we will just try to have a final go at making this mind-body connection as real as possible. And we're just simply going to do that by directing awareness of the mind to different parts of the body, but with a really particular kind of awareness, one that does not allow analysis. We're not going to make any judgments about what we sense. We're going to try to be completely neutral and just sense whatever it is we feel in that part of the body. And then you use one inhale and one exhale of our equal rhythm to invite that part of the body to soften and release. So with your eyes closed or your soft gaze, bring your awareness to the right foot and the right ankle. Notice all the sensations there. Breathe into the right foot and the right ankle. And as you breathe out, invite the right foot and ankle to soften and release. Move your awareness up to the right shin and calf. Notice the sensations there. Breathe into the right shin and calf and exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the right knee, front of the knee, the sides of the knee, the back of the knee. Inhale into the right knee. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the right thigh, all the way up to the right hip. The front of the thigh, the back of the thigh. Inhale into the right thigh. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to sensations in the whole of the right leg, from the foot right up to the top of the thigh. Inhale and exhale, soften and release the whole of the right leg. Take a moment to notice the sensations in the right leg and to notice sensations in the left leg. Again, without judgment, without analysis. Move your attention to the left foot and ankle. Inhale into the left foot and ankle. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the left shin and left calf. Inhale and exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the left knee, the front of the knee, the sides of the knee, the back of the knee. Inhale into the left knee. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the whole of the left thigh, the front of the thigh, the back of the thigh. Inhale into the left thigh. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the whole of the left leg. Inhale into the whole of the left leg. And exhale, soften, release. Notice the sensations in the left leg. Notice the sensations in the right leg. Awareness now to the right hand and wrist, the palm of the hand and the back of the hand. Inhale into the right hand. Exhale, soften, release. The right forearm and the right elbow. Inhale, exhale, soften, release. Notice sensations in the right upper arm and right shoulder. Inhale, right upper arm and shoulder. Exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the whole of the right arm, from the hand to the shoulder. Inhale and exhale, soften, release. Notice the sensations in your right arm. Notice the sensations in your left arm. Focusing on the left hand and left wrist, palm of the hand and back of the hand. Inhale and exhale, soften, release. The left forearm and elbow. Inhale, exhale, soften, release. Notice sensations in the left upper arm and left shoulder. Inhale, left upper arm and shoulder. Exhale, soften, release. Notice sensations in the whole of the left arm, from the left hand to the left shoulder. Inhale and exhale, soften, release. Notice the sensations in the left arm. Notice the sensations in the right arm. Become aware of the hips, the base of the hips, the front of the hips, the sides of the hips, and the back of the hips. Inhale into the hips and exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the abdomen, the front of the abdomen, the sides of the abdomen, and the lower back. Inhale and exhale, soften and release the abdomen and the lower back. Awareness to sensations in the chest, the left rib cage, the right rib cage, the front of the chest, the sides of the chest, the back of the chest. Inhale and exhale, soften, release. Awareness to the tops of the shoulders, the front of the neck, sides of the neck, and the back of the neck. Inhale and exhale, soften, release. Awareness to sensations in the head, the back of the head, the sides of the head, the crown of the head, and the face. Inhale and exhale, soften, release. Be aware of sensations in the whole of your body. And as you breathe in, notice all those sensations. And as you exhale, soften and release. And allow yourself a few more breaths now with your own natural breath. Just being in this state of mindfulness, softness, and release. And now allow your breath to deepen. Bring movement back into the body, wriggle the fingers, move the toes, and stretch into your arms and your legs in any way that feels good. If you're lying with your legs straight, bending the knees and bringing the knees in towards the chest and rolling onto your side. And take a moment there to either come back up to sitting cross-legged on your mat or back into the chair, and we're going to do a closing breathing practice. And for this you can rest the palms on the thighs, or you can rest the back of the hands on the thighs, which might just help you to feel a little bit more open in the shoulders. And if you are used to and want to take a Hasta Mudra, bring the thumb and the first finger, tip of the first finger together. Allow your eyes to close, or if you're keeping your eyes open, have a soft gaze forward and down. And begin to tune back into your breath. And we're going to revisit the counting just for a few breaths. So as you breathe in, silently counting 1, 2, 3, 4. As you breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do 2 more rounds using your count. And if at any time you feel like moving the count up 1 or 2, feel free to do that. And when you've reached that comfortable maximum for you tonight, and you have an easy samavriti, equal ratio, equal rhythm of breath, inhale and exhale, balanced, let the count go, and we'll take 5 more breaths. Beautiful, flowing, easy breaths. And when you get to the end of your 5th breath, let's take a moment there to have a final check-in with how you feel in your body, quality of your mind, the quality of your mind-body connection. I'm going to finish this class with another little quote from the Undo It book on lifestyle medicine. A lot of this is fairly uncontroversial. Most people agree that people who exercise more are going to become more healthy, who are less stressed are going to be more healthy, and those who have good social connection, love, support, intimacy are going to be more healthy. The diet is the minefield and very, very personal, but it's an important aspect to that. One of the things you might like to do is, if you have Netflix, is to watch a film called Game Changers, which features Dean in it and just goes into the science behind food without being judgmental. And nobody here is pushing any particular diet, even though when we look in the bookshops, it seems if you want to get rich, write a diet book. But the last thing I wanted to share with you was just a little quote which Dean has put in his book, which is about when you come up with new ideas like lifestyle medicine, and I know this is very, very personal to him. He was ridiculed by his colleagues to begin with because he was an orthodox heart surgeon, and what he didn't realize was that what he was proposing back then, which was revolutionary and dismissed, would become medical orthodoxy by now, and his program is all covered by American health insurance. And the quote is this: like all revolutionary new ideas, the subject has had to pass through 3 stages, which may be summed up with these reactions. 1, it's crazy, don't waste my time. 2, it's possible, but it's not worth doing. And 3, I always said it was a good idea. Hopefully we're at the stage where lifestyle medicine is being seen much more widely as a good idea. And I wish you well, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me.